US Patriot 88 here, and I just wanted to share a news article I come across with y'all. If you read it for yourself, go check it out, but I'm going to read a little bit out of the article. In 2010, central banks became net buyers for the first time in 2 decades, adding 87 metric tons in official sector purchases by countries including Bolivia, Sri Lanka, and Mauritius, according to World Gold Council data. That means even the big banks are scared of this 11% steady decline of the US dollar, which is why it's my own personal belief that every American should be invested in diversifying rather than just holding dollars. Central banks can buy gold, and hedge against the dollar, so why shouldn't we, the people? Ensure your future and invest in gold, silver, or other precious metals. For example, buy a 60-inch big screen TV, or buy, with that same money, 40 ounces of silver. What sounds like a more sound investment to you that will ultimately increase in value and ultimately increase your wealth? Right now, at the time of this video, silver is right around $48. The price of high-grade marijuana on the street is $400. So it's just about making a moral decision, knowing how to be conscious about what you're spending your money on and how you spend it. I know a lot of people use marijuana for medicine and stuff like that. I'm not knocking marijuana or anybody that smokes it. Just using that as an example. Manage your money. Moving on, a little bit more of the article. The U.S. Treasury Department projects that the government could reach its debt ceiling of $14.3 trillion in mid-May. And then it said that they could run out of options to avoid default in early July. Default meaning failure to meet financial obligations or bankruptcy. Is America going to have to borrow a whole crap load of money in July, on the same month that the same nation declared independence and sovereignty? July 4th, 1776 is crazy. How ironic. It's just nuts. Article that the dollar's down 11% against 6 other major currencies. What happens when the dollar is no longer number one? It will be globally disruptive, but it will just completely devastate normal everyday Americans like me and you. The article states that China, with more than $3 trillion in foreign currency reserves, plans to set up new funds to invest in precious metals, Century Weekly reported. Russia purchased 8 tons of gold in the first quarter, and that's according to Bloomberg. Robert McEwen talks about in the article how China and Russia plan to have more gold than America. Think about it. It also talks about how China is trying to prove that currency has more backing than the US dollar. But think about how many wars have been started over money. Whether it's some conquering nations and countries for their wealth and treasures, or the American Revolution, a war over tax burden, being taxed too heavily. Money causes conflict. It's not good to see all the nations starting to fight over all these precious metals and try to obtain the most, because that can ultimately lead to conflict. This country's getting weaker and weaker, and it's just a shame. It's a shame. What happens when there's no Constitution shining out on the hill for all the world to see? It's not about a city on the hill. It's about the Constitution. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's the light shining out. And what happens when that light goes out? It's crazy. America's getting in worse and worse shape. Just asking, go check out the article. Start doing a little of your own research. Get outside the box. And, just start looking at the reality of things and what's really happening around us every day. Please leave me your comments on the central banks buying up gold bullion and the decline of the dollar, and leave your comments on the increasing demand for physical gold, silver, and other precious metals. Please rate the video, subscribe, and I appreciate